So right now I want to talk about Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae, despite its name, can actually cause several varying different diseases, to include acute cyanitis, meningitis, sepsis, and septic arthritis, endocarditis, cellulitis, brain abscesses, pneumonia, and quite a few other different various diseases. It's a gram-positive cocci. It's ovoid, and it can be in shorter chains, or it can be diplococci and a single cocci. It just kind of depends on the type of structure that it's in. The interesting thing about Streptococcus pneumoniae is that it actually is in a lot of healthy patients. It's in the nasal cavities of humans. It colonizes, and it can sometimes turn dangerous in terms of it changing its morphology to become pathogenic. This can happen to immunosuppressed patients. This can happen to patients that have had infections previously, and there's quite a few other reasons as to why sometimes it might change morphology and actually become a disease. It is also alpha hemolytic, and it's a facultative anaerobic microbe, which means that it can change between using oxygen and not using oxygen. So it can ferment glucose without oxygen, or it can get its energy with oxygen. Also, as well, it normally affects the respiratory tract, sinuses, the nasal cavity, and are parts of the body that are usually affected. In the elderly and the immunocompromised, the bacteria can spread and cause other diseases, as I just mentioned before. It can also cause septicemia in HIV-infected persons. It is the most common bacterium to why there's a community-acquired pneumonia and meningitis. It's one of the real big reasons why we vaccinate against meningitis, is because the bacteria that causes it is already in us, and to have the susceptibility to spreading it to other people is extremely important to why we vaccinate against it. The method of transportation of the bacterium when a person is infected is through coughing, sneezing, direct contact, and it's highly contagious. It can be pretty bad, and there's a couple other different aspects of it that I would like to discuss. One of them is how pneumonia kind of penetrates, and right now, from the information that I've gathered up from the internet and from other resources, that it's very difficult to understand how it actually penetrates the lung cells. It's relatively unknown, and we just know that it can penetrate the lung cells and become pneumonia. It degrades epithelial tissues in the lungs, and that's what causes the whole problem with pneumonia. Obviously, we know with pneumonia you get fluid build up in your lungs, and it becomes extremely difficult to breathe, and coughing is a very prevalent thing, and you become highly contagious, and so that's why it's pretty important to wash your hands. That's one of the most important things, to keep your hands away from your face, wash your hands consistently, and always kind of be aware of the fact that it is around.